Winter is coming.
Star-Lord. Finish him! Hadouken!
Fatality.
And welcome to the Free Your Geek podcast. We are back. This is Jay Free.
And KB.
KB, welcome. We are in the Jay Free cave, or the Jay Free zone. A little hole-in-the-wall apartment where we set up all the equipment, and we're underneath a fan right now, so hopefully that's not too loud for you listeners. But we want to do a quick show today.
We don't want to sweat. You might smell us through the mic.
Yeah, we're just that's gross. All right, KB. Square Enix came out last night with their big show at E3, and the big talk of the town. And I know you posted this on our Facebook page. So for those that aren't familiar, we have a Facebook page called Free Your Geek. Go check it out. It's the same logo as the podcast. And for those listening on your listening devices, thank you. And we're going to be talking, like as I mentioned, a little bit about the Avengers game. KB, you posted it to the Facebook page. You were excited about it. It got some likes. They showed the trailer, which was no actual in-game footage yet. No gameplay. They did show in-game footage, but no gameplay footage. I want to make that clear, as I'm not very much a video game guy as much as you are. But you just happened to watch the trailer when you came over before we started recording this podcast. And what do you think? Just first impressions.
I loved it. I actually loved it. I thought it was really good. And usually, like, first trailers like that, I don't take those too what's the word I'm looking for? Like, too seriously. Because, you know, there's going to be a lot of edits and changes before the game comes out. And if you look at what Square Enix has done with the Tomb Raider franchise, I mean, it's phenomenal. I wouldn't expect anything less. Good diversity in scenes. The story seems to be original. I did like the Iron Man, the outer space armor that he had on. Like, that was really cool. I think some of the character faces and stuff may need a little bit of a touch up, a little bit of work. Like Black Widow looked a little off, but overall not bad. You know, I'm still excited for the game. It's not going to change, you know, how I feel about the game coming out.
So we're going to talk a little bit about the trailer, and then we're going to take a break. And then when we come back from the break, I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the specs just to get your opinion on it. What they talked about last night on E3. But right now, Twitter is all abuzz with feelings of this trailer, and people do not like it. I think part of the problem, and I think it's indicative of a bigger issue, is that they want the characters to look like their MCU counterparts, where it's a whole licensing thing.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people are saying, like, you know, this doesn't look like Robert Downey Jr. Well, no kidding,
No.
It's not supposed to. You know, for licensing reasons, for, you know, obviously for budgetary reasons, I'm sure they could, you know, pay. But how much would Robert Downey Jr. charge to use his likeness, to use his voice?
And the voice acting work. I just feel like a lot of people forget. It's almost like the MCU is so good that people forget that these were characters way before. You know, as far as like the faces and the, you know, if you want to get picky about how they look, you know what I mean? You know, this is totally separate from the MCU, so that's why I'm not disappointed in it at all, like maybe some other people are.
And that's what I think. I think you and I both, being comic book fans and being, you know, fans of the genre in and of itself outside of the MCU, yes. I think we have a different perspective of it, as opposed to,
absolutely.
I think a lot of folks, a lot of the people kind of like kicking up dirt at this and raising hell with this, is that the MCU is all they know.
Yeah.
And they want it to be a continuation of that. Which,
if you're a gamer who didn't read comics,
right?
You know, that's you're expecting it to look similar, and I get that, but that's not the case. It's not the case at all. Anybody who's read Marvel comics, or, you know, just comics in general, you know, knows the Avengers and knows, you know, that's their look has changed over the years. Even the roster's changed over the years. The roster changes every year practically. You know what I mean? So. It is. I think like we're saying, people that just don't have the comic book, I don't want to say knowledge, but appreciation of the characters and how long they've been around. Looking at them, I think that the characters that were in the trailer and how they were portrayed, it gives the comics plenty of justice. Gives the characters plenty of justice. I don't link it to the MCU at all. You know, So I'm still excited for it. I hope that there's more characters. I hope that there's like War Machine and yeah.
Post break, I'm going to tell you some of the stuff they talked about on E3.
And this is kind of cool because I posted that originally, but I haven't really looked after it since. I've just been kind of busy lately, and so everything that Jay Free is giving me is new information for me to react to, which is kind of nice.
So I want to just go in real quick. I don't know if you recognize any of these names, but we have Tony Stark being voiced by Nolan North.
Okay.
Bruce Banner is going to be Troy Baker.
Yep.
Thor is going to be Travis Willingham.
Okay.
I believe his name that you say is either Jeff Shine or Jeff Shiney is going to be Steve Rogers.
Okay.
And Laura Bailey is voicing Natasha Romanoff.
Okay. Not familiar with a lot of the names.
Okay. Well, when we come back from the break, we'll talk about some of the games they've been in that they've already done.
Yeah, because once I know the character, then I can tell you how good it is.
How good the voice actors. And then I'll tell you about like some of the specifics of the game.
Yeah, definitely.
So we'll be back after the short break and listen to one of the little groups that we're a part of. Check it out. Hey guys, I want to quickly tell you about 4041 Media. It is a collection of podcasts in the southeastern Massachusetts region, including For Your Geek, and we are proud to be part of the 4041 Media family. So check out 4041media.com to listen to For Your Geek, or if you happen to be a movie buff, check out Movie Theater Time Machine. Or if you want to know why the crazies do the crimes that they do, check out the Psych Your Crime podcast. 4041 Media, by listeners, for listeners. And welcome back to For Your Geek. I am still Jay Free, here with KB, and we're talking about the voice actors from the new Avengers game, the trailer, which, by the way, the release date is 2020 in May. I believe is May 15th, I believe. I have to double check that.
So we have a long wait.
We have about a year. So to your point, as far as like the touch-ups and whatnot needing to be done, they have a year to touch stuff up. But again, the trailer said the pre-orders are already being done to test the beta, so that'd be kind of interesting too. So let's talk about some of the voice actors, as we mentioned. Voicing Tony Stark is Nolan North. And he's known to the world as Uncharted's Nathan Drake.
Yes.
And he's also done Destiny 2.
And who's he doing? He's doing Tony Stark, right?
He's doing Tony Stark. And he also voiced in one of my favorite series, Assassin's Creed. He voiced Desmond Miles in the first Assassin's Creed game. So
he's got a resume.
Yes. Bruce Banner / Hulk by Troy Baker. He worked on BioShock Infinite.
Yep. And
Tales from the Borderlands.
And did he work on Last of Us?
He was Joel in The Last of Us.
Yes.
Yeah,
So again, once I heard a couple of the characters, I kind of know who they are. Yeah, those two guys have pretty extensive resumes, so I would expect them to do a pretty good job.
Thor being voiced by Travis Willingham.
What was he in?
He voiced a lot of Disney XD, Avengers Assemble, and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of that stuff.
He extends, it says, this article I'm reading says it extends to Sonic the Hedgehog series, where he voices Knuckles. He's also done a few Marvel video games, most recently voicing Wilson Fisk in 2018's Spider-Man on the PlayStation 4.
Again, pretty good resume.
Again, but it's a Marvel person. So, again, even though the characters might not look exactly like the MCU counterparts, who's to say? The guy knows his Marvel stuff if he's been part of Marvel properties before.
In Disney.
The guy playing Steve Rogers / Captain America, Jeff, I want to say it's Shine, Schine. He voiced Javier from The Walking Dead: A New Frontier, which was the Telltale series. He hasn't really done much else. And
still wasn't a bad voice acting job. I remember the character.
Right. And Natasha Romanoff voiced by Laura Bailey. She's done some Marvel stuff too. She's done some Disney animated shows, Avengers Assemble, Marvel's Spider-Man, Guardians of the Galaxy, and several Marvel games such as Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
Yeah, it's not a lot of over voicing there.
But she's all those times she's voiced Natasha Romanoff, so she's familiar with the character.
She's familiar with the character and how she.
And she also voiced Mary Jane on the Spider-Man version.
So she's got a resume too.
Yeah.
So they didn't grab crap actors to do this. So that's good to know. But just like anything else though too, Actors sometimes can't save the movie. Same thing in games. The game still has to be good regardless of the actors they use.
I absolutely agree. So going back to the trailer real quick before I get into some more specifics, what were your thoughts on, there's going to be, similar to Avengers Endgame, and spoilers if you haven't seen that, there's going to be a 5-year time jump, because we see in the trailer that it looks like Captain America passes.
What I kind of really liked about that was that some of the best Avengers stories are when things are very dark. And looking at that trailer, it seemed like a very... When they jumped the 5 years, seems like a very dark, kind of hopeless time. And that's when I feel like Avengers stories are at their best. It's not just simply, kicking butt and taking names. It's build up to usually a pretty good story, if not great story. So that's, just look at Endgame and how it works and the build up in that movie, right? You start in this dark
Spoilers, just in case we haven't.
In case, yeah. But you should have by now if you watch us. But yeah, so, Endgame starts in this dark period, and it's a great story that comes out of that. And I feel like, if this game can kind of just go that same way and have like that, they were up on top, you can see in the beginning, then 5 years later, they're down in the dumps. And, trying to figure out, does the world still need heroes? People hate us, that kind of thing. That's usually a good story. It's usually a good story to start with. Good basis for a story. So I'm still excited for it. Definitely still excited.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, KB. And then the next question I have for you is, which system are you going to get this on?
Which system am I going to get this on? It depends. See, I do my research before I buy stuff, and I try to figure out if there's different DLC on consoles.
So I will say this. You need to get this on PS4 so you can play with me alongside, because
co-op play.
There's going to be 4-player missions online with your friends.
That'll be cool.
And here's the really cool part. You talked about DLC.
Yeah.
Crystal Dynamics basically mentioned that it's going to constantly be a growing stream of new content, including characters, missions, and more.
That sounds awesome.
And then it says for PS4, it has some special bonuses like the early access beta.
Yeah, they have a good relationship with PS4.
And players won't have to worry about expensive DLC, as every new region and hero will be available completely free.
Really? See that
there's no loot crates. That's what they mentioned.
So on the other consoles, you might be seeing loot crates and things like that.
That I don't know. All I know is they mentioned last night when I watched it. I was streaming and it was up till I think like 11 o'clock last night. And that was like the big thing.
So the exclusivity is going to PlayStation.
I believe so. So you need to get it for the PS4.
Oh, definitely.
I could be misspeaking.
Again, they have a year. They may do the same thing with Xbox.
Right. We don't know, but it's something I'm very excited about.
But no, it's something you and I can see you and I.
Well, we played this game called. Was it DC Universe Online?
Yep.
Years ago.
We played for a while. We played for years,
and we never got any real traction in it because I think we got to the point where you did. We got to the point where we leveled up, and I get so like
Jeff just like making characters.
I loved making
great
characters.
Character creator,
and I still.
And your water set never came out, did it?
It did. I created a new character. I still
play with it for a second. And
I still have the game. I'm still paying for the subscriptions because I don't pay
for it anymore.
I have like 30 characters, and I'm like, I don't want to get rid of any of them.
From what I understand, they store everything, so like if you cancel and go back, you can get everything back.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to make sure. But I think this will be fun. I think there, from what I heard, the rumor is there's going to still be a single play, but then there's going to be an online co-op play. And
I think companies have found that games that don't include a single play don't do as well.
Well, I think yeah. I mean, look at like Fallout 76. Right off the bat,
perfect example.
You can play solo. But it's just like they wanted it to be this huge online experience.
Well, and now they basically changed the whole thing back to solo because it just people didn't like it. So you hope that doesn't happen with this game. Like it's a total. Well, no, they're gonna have single players, so we're good. And single player for me is always like a way, like even if you're an online player, single player to me is like a way to kind of just get used to the game, get used to the controls, get used to any changes. Even Call of Duty, right? Like it's the same game every year, but there are changes. There's minor changes and different weapons, and AI is always, enhanced. It works a little different. So I think story is like good for that. You know what I mean? To practice and to enjoy, and also too sometimes you just want to enjoy a good story in a game, and you kind of need it a little bit, especially for the franchise to thrive. So Titanfall is another good example. Like Titanfall, when it first came out, was just the first one was just multiplayer. There was no no single player. You could go against bots, I think, but that what fun is that?
Yeah.
But then in Titanfall 2, they critics loved it, and the game did okay. But they added a campaign, single player campaign, and it was awesome. I loved it. So for me, I need the campaign. That's just my opinion.
No, I absolutely agree. I think it's going to be an interesting game. I'm on board with and even at E3 yesterday when the people from, I believe it was Square Enix, were talking, they said this is our interpretation of the Avengers. So
it's art. You got to remember it's art. Dude.
I'm not getting all up in arms about that. But I'm curious to see how the gameplay is. There's supposed to be, I don't know if they released it yet, but I believe today they're supposed to release actual gameplay footage, so we can kind of see how, because the trailer was all in-game footage, but they looked like all cutscenes.
Yeah.
Oh, some of the other complaints, by the way, they said it looked like a PS2. It didn't look like, graphically speaking.
Because it's new. It's like it's not fully developed yet. You gotta give it time to be fully developed. You can't really judge a game till the polished product is done.
I agree, but I'm excited because I liked what for PlayStation the Spider-Man game was amazing.
Yeah. I haven't finished that yet.
Not that it's not that, I don't think it's the same developers, but but again, I think that Marvel properties now are kind of selling themselves.
Yep.
So I'm thinking, what's going to happen, with the Avengers. Even though people are complaining about it, I still think it's going to do really well as a video game.
Of course it is.
I think that
of course it is.
People are going to be fiending for these characters, even though that post Endgame, so to speak.
Yeah, how are you going to fill that void? This
Right.
might fill that void. Especially we don't know where the MCU is going right now. We got a couple movies coming up, but overall, we don't know. What's the new main story? What's the new? I'm sure they're going to do something. Maybe Avengers versus X-Men or something like that. But it's a wait and see kind of thing. So until we kind of get our footing back in the MCU, as far as like what's the main story, Secret Wars maybe, something like that. You need I think it's good to fill the void.
Well, speaking of filling the void in Marvel movies, our next podcast we're going to try to do is Dark Phoenix.
Yes.
Have you seen it yet?
Nope, I've not seen it. I'm going to see it this weekend.
I'm going to see it on Saturday. So I think the next time we record, we're going to do a quick review of that and just discuss that. And
Definitely.
then maybe we'll do a final countdown and we'll rank our top 5 either X-Men or X-Men movies. We can spitball.
X-Men movies is easier.
Yeah.
Let's do X-Men movies.
Maybe we'll just do a huge final countdown. Maybe we'll do a review and then we'll do 2 final countdowns.
Maybe.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
But until then, thank you all for listening. Go check out our conglomerate that we're a part of, 4041 Media. That's 4041media.com. For listeners, by listeners. They have Movie Theater Time Machine and the Psych Your Crime podcast in addition to ours. So check them out.
Anything
KB.
else you want to plug?
I'm good. You go.
No, I mean, I really don't have anything to plug. Just keep an eye on all of our pages, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
Oh, yeah, we should plug that. So Twitter and Instagram, both
all
For Your
Free
Geek on that. Facebook, For Your Geek. The website's jfreethegeek.com. So we're kind of happy to be back. I want to kind of do this. I set this little studio, this makeshift studio in my dwelling. And
I think we got through our technical difficulties.
Yeah, we had some technical difficulties in the front end of the house before. You guys didn't even hear that, so you're fine. But I think we should keep doing this. I think we're going to stay audio for now and then eventually move back to video, hopefully. Or maybe we'll just do one-off videos from time to time and just post it on the page. But check it out. Check us out. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting. KB, anything else?
Start your week and remember to be a geek. I don't know. We got to find a new
Yeah,
catchphrase.
KB. That was
I'm just thinking on the fly.
That was off the cuff. That wasn't bad.
Totally off the cuff.
Yeah, you know what?
Because we even don't do the weekend thing anymore.
We record on Tuesdays now, so we want to try to drop these Tuesday nights.
Yeah.
We'll have to figure that out. I don't know. I can't think of anything good. So
get your week on with your geek on.
No.
We'll figure it out.
Your midweek dose of geek, something like that. Your dose of geek for the
midweek geek freak.
Okay, now we're just being awful. Thanks everybody.
Thanks.
And KB, you gotta say the last catchphrase.
Which one's that?
That's
get your geek on.
Damn, dude, that's the one we're known for. Get your geek on, man. Thanks, everybody.
You're still here. It's over. Go home.